Welcome to Gigs and Guitars. In this edition we're going to look at Queen and the Rhapsody tour with Adam Lambert, so stay tuned! Okay, so back in 1980, I was 11 years of age when my dad and my brother, we all went to the Regent Cinema in Fleetwood in Lancashire to watch the film Flash Gordon. Now the soundtrack was by Queen. By that point in 1980, that was Queen's 9th studio album, so they'd been round the block a few times by that point. But that was my first venture into the world of Queen at the age of 11. Now if you move on to 1986, when Queen released A Kind of Magic. Now within that album there was a track called One Vision, and that album was quite significant for me really because I went and bought Queen the One Vision Extended Vision Remix, which is a 12-inch, if you remember these 12-inch remixes, and this is it. One memorable thing I have about this 12-inch remix, which was which my sister reminded me of only a matter of days ago, was I got this 12-inch remix. I put it on my record player in my bedroom, and I insisted that my sister went into my bedroom, we switched all the lights off, and we put One Vision on, dead loud. And that introduction and all the remix of the 12-inch special edition was absolutely mad, and I loved it. Not really sure what my sister thought, but she reminded me about that a few days ago, which was and I'd completely forgot, and it was absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, I dug this out of the cupboard the other day, and I've not had it on for years, and this 12-inch single really took me back to 1986, and there's quite a few interesting things happened to Queen in 1986. Now, just refer to my notes. A Kind of Magic, the album, came out. And of course, One Vision was one of the key tracks within that album for me personally. I love the guitar bit in it, really, really loved it. But also, Live Magic came out as well, which was obviously the live CD, the live video as well. When Brian May came on stage, when he opened up with One Vision, for me that was like, wow, that was just immense. That was brilliant. It's proper killer guitar with great tone and great guitar playing skills. But not only was 1986 a good year for Queen in terms of releasing A Kind of Magic, Live Magic, for me in particular One Vision, but it was also the year that Highlander the film came out as well, which again was another monumental film in my life. I went to the cinema in Blackpool to watch that, which was called the ABC, which is no longer there. And again, the soundtrack within that film, for me, was just amazing. Who remembers Kurgan? He's the person in your nightmares that chases you round your bedroom when you're in bed.
I am in disguise.
I've never seen Queen live. When I was 16, Live Aid was up and running at Wembley. It was a monumental sort of gig for them. They stole the show from Led Zeppelin, The Who and people like that. So 2022 comes along and Michelle and I decide to get tickets to go and see Queen at the O2 Arena in London in June of this year. So how did we get on? Okay guys, we've just left the hotel. The River Thames is just there, that's Michelle. Right, we've got a bit of a problem. We've got a problem with the Ticketmaster tickets, so we're going to have to go to the box office ASAP. Purely because when they've sent the tickets out, you've actually got to download the O2 Arena app to your phone, which Michelle's phone doesn't support it. So we're going to go there now and see if we can get these tickets. We've tried logging in on my phone and it currently isn't happening, so we'll give you an update very shortly. Okay guys, problem solved. We have hard copy tickets, and there's a little bit of a laugh at the ticket kiosk about Michelle's email address, which sounded like see-through knickers, but that's about as far as we're going to go. The main thing is we've got the tickets. Now that you and I are alone, just a little bit of trivia. Last week I did God Save the Queen in the tone of Brian May. Now, how I got that tone was through my Laney IRT60, and Brian May is well known for using what's called a treble booster when he's playing live guitar, and he also uses his Vox AC30s, but he also uses a silver sixpence, which is his pick of choice, and that's how he gets those high frequencies which punch through the mix at these gigs. Now I managed to do that. She's back again. Look, she's here now. Look, she's here. She's there. I've not finished. Anyway, so what I tried to do was use my Laney IRT60, was basically use a bit of gain, bit of a carbon copy delay, but to try and replicate the tones of the treble booster that Brian May uses. I used the MXR Phase 90 to try and do the same, which I think to a degree works quite well, as it changed phases between the high and the low frequencies, which work quite well. Right, anyway, enough of that boring nonsense. Let's find Michelle, and she's just here. Here we are. Okay guys, that's a little bit of a palaver there. We're looking for entrance G. It doesn't exist in the O2. Apparently we have to go in through entrance H, which is where we are now, and it's just a bit bizarre, but never mind, we're in the right place apparently, so we'll crack on.
Do you know, I've been so lucky that I've gotten to travel the world and sing these amazing songs with these gentlemen for over 10 years now. And honestly, it just feels really good to be up here and to be accepted by these gentlemen and by all of you. So thank you for giving me a chance tonight.
I'll just get this bit out of the way because it's all about being open, it's all about being honest and what my true thoughts are. Arenas, for me, personally, are not good venues for great tone, for great sound. We have to remember that arenas are used for multi-purposes, like they might have a dog show on the following weekend, or a kitchen DIY trade show coming up. So they've got to fulfill many, many different roles. So when we're talking about getting great numbers of people in, they've got to be accommodated, and there's lots of seating. But these sort of arenas, they fail to have like a personal sort of atmosphere. I didn't get a connection between me and the environment I was in when I was sat there. They don't have any acoustics like a music hall would have. Say, for example, the Royal Albert Hall, the London Palladium and places like that. So they're compromised before they get going. But that is always going to be the compromise, the trade-off in between getting capacity numbers in and actually providing a great show. We were there in London on the 8th of June. Now, Queen had played their first night there on the 5th, so we were there on the 3rd night. The first 4 songs sounded like it was coming out of a transistor radio. The sound wasn't really all that good, guys, it really wasn't. And as the show progressed, I'm not quite sure whether I got acclimatised to this quite poor sound or whether they'd actually improved the sound of the mixing desk. But this was, again, performance number 3 at this venue, so they should be getting the sound right by this point. You could not hear the keyboards or the bass guitar throughout the entire show because of the volume on the kick drum on Roger Taylor's drum kit. It's far too loud. And I'll explain that it wasn't down to where I was sitting that made it sound like that, because I'll tell you this. Part way through the show, Queen moved their entire band into the middle of the auditorium. You know, like they have these runways that go from the main stage out into the middle of the audience. Well, that's what they did. A little drum kit was set up for Roger Taylor, who then walked down the runway himself with Brian May's electric guitar. Adam Lambert turned up. They performed a number of songs in the front of the audience. Now, the point I'm getting to at that point was the drum levels were absolutely fine. There's no issues with that kick drum. For me, I thought, oh, they've got the sound sorted out. That's great. We can get on and enjoy the rest of the show. But when Queen returned back to the normal stage positions, on the main stage, we're back into a thumping bass drum, which overshadowed the bass guitar and the keyboards. Now, here's the interesting bit, guys. Another one bites the dust. If you can't hear the bass line for the kick drum, what's the point? Now, Queen themselves are probably not aware of this, because when they're on stage, they're relying probably on in-ear monitors, and these, if you're not familiar with what in-ear monitors are, they're those great big, like, they look like hearing aids stuck in the artist's ears, and that gives the artist a mix of the sound, but how they want it tailored for their use. So they're not hearing what you hear in the audience. We could hear Brian May, but it wasn't the wall of Vox 8C's 30 tones you're expecting. It was an electric guitar within a mix. And as I've said, these arenas aren't all that good at producing these tones. If I was wanting to listen to Queen music being performed really, really well, I did just that last year, where Michelle and I went to the London Palladium and we watched Queen Symphonic. The venue is much nicer, much better, more fitting. These older venues, the acoustic qualities are absolutely fantastic. They're made and they're designed for shows, productions. They have one purpose, and that's to produce a great show with great sound. So these arenas are not that good. So Queen, if you're watching this, or anybody from Queen, do what Eric Clapton did many, many years ago. Do 21 nights at the Royal Albert Hall. Fantastic, done, sorted. Okay, so some really good sort of positives for the show, guys. I've got the sound nonsense out of the way. Right, great visuals. Lighting was brilliant. The actual set for the stage was fantastic. The back of the stage, they had like royal boxes, if you will, either side of Roger Taylor's drum kit with people in there. Absolutely fantastic. A great big sort of magical crown was sat there as you waited for the show to start. Bits of fireworks. Brian May had like, I don't know, like flares being fired off the end of his guitar as he was playing it out into the audience, which was really, really good. Adam Lambert, in no way should we ever compare him to Freddie Mercury, because I'd say that would be unfair. We've got to talk about him on his own merits. And I have to say, one absolute brilliant performance from Adam Lambert is theatrical. He's got fantastic presence. I love his costumes. I love his stage presence. His vocals are just amazing, guys. When Adam Lambert did Somebody to Love, all those high notes were absolutely pitch perfect. Absolutely spot on. And Adam, if you're watching this, mate, loved it. Absolutely loved it. These are very, very difficult songs to actually perform well, and you did it very well. In order to give Adam Lambert a little bit of a break, Roger Taylor basically performed his iconic track, I'm in Love with My Car.
What did I miss? Discussing Roger's car song.
Is it strong enough? That's all I'm asking.
And when he did actually sing the song, and he did it very, very well, it did bring a smile to my face, because it just reminded me of the film Bohemian Rhapsody, and that moment where you're not got anything better to sing about, Roger, than your car. But it allowed Adam Lambert to basically probably go off stage, have a bit of a drink or something, gargle something medicinal to sort out the vocals, to relax his throat. And I think it sort of worked well as quite as a break, but it did bring a bit of a smile to my face, to be fair. It was also good to see that I Want It All made it to the set of the Queen gig. I've got a place in my heart for that track, because it was one of the first Queen songs that I ever played live in a band when I was probably about the age of, say, 19. And the good thing about how they played it, unlike the regular sort of studio edition, was they put the bridge into the song. It's a track which a purist would probably probably not want to see in there, but for me, it's got a place in my heart because I played that in my first band with Fast Exit, they were called, many, many years ago. Fast Exit. So there you go, a bit of trivia. They did a dedication to Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters, who unfortunately died a few months ago. And they did Under Pressure, which I thought was really good. So you've got Brian May there with his guitar at the front with Adam Lambert, and you've got Roger Taylor on his smaller drum kit, which sounded much, much better. And I thought that was a fitting tribute to Taylor Hawkins, who of course performed Under Pressure himself with the Foo Fighters. And it's just such a sad story about Taylor, but nonetheless, Queen is a fitting tribute to a brilliant artist, and for me, that was one of sort of the bonuses of the night. It really, really was. The show must go on, and that for me is a big one, and that was a big message from Freddie Mercury back in the days, that no matter what happens, we've got to continue. And I think that was a message from Freddie back in the day to say, look, I'm not going to be around forever, but Queen has to continue. And guys, you're doing a great job of it, you really are. And to be honest, every time I hear that track, it's just brilliant, so emotional, and guys, you delivered it very, very well. Okay, so what did I really think? To be honest, Queen is Queen. I've never seen Queen before in my life, but I did get to see Brian May and I did get to see Roger Taylor, which I thought was brilliant. And it was great to see my all-time sort of heroes on stage in front of me that night. Adam Lambert is absolutely brilliant, and I've mentioned earlier we should not compare him to Freddie Mercury at all because that would be unfair. He's a professional, his stage presence is fantastic, his costumes are great, but more importantly, his vocals are absolutely fantastic, guys, and you really need to see Adam Lambert in person actually doing all this. And if you want to see him riding a Harley Davidson motorcycle on a stage, you need to see this show because it's there. I think it's either a Heritage Softail or something like that, I couldn't quite tell. And he is the person who can only deliver what Queen needs in the absence of Freddie Mercury. So full marks, 10 out of 10 for Adam Lambert on his performance. But in terms of Queen as a whole, would I recommend it? Yes, I would. But I'd only give it 7 out of 10 from Gigs and Guitars purely because of the acoustic content of that arena and the appalling issues with the kick drum on Roger Taylor's drum kit, which overshadowed the bass player and the keyboards for the majority of the gig. So it's 7 out of 10 from me, guys. If you're going to see Queen, enjoy it. I hope it was a one-off that I saw, and I hope that you will enjoy your show. These are very expensive shows to go and watch as a customer in these very difficult times. But yeah, don't let it put you off. Go and have a look and see for yourself, and let me know in the comments in this video what you really thought about the Queen show. Well, this brings me to the end of this edition of Gigs and Guitars, which I hope you enjoyed. Give me a like, think about subscribing, guys, because a large proportion of viewers are actually not subscribed to the channel. And if we can reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, one, I'll be very, very pleased. But in turn, it will also open the doors to better content. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. It's just there somewhere. Hit it. Subscribe. Please do it. I'd love you to do it. Just carry on. Anyway, enough of that. Hit the bell notification button because that will tell you when I'm about to release a new video. And there's always time in the day for a brew. Cracking.